Hello, and thank you for coming today. I'd like to introduce myself for those of you who don't know me. I'm Mike Mahoney, Territory Account Manager for the Southeast U.S. for Avid Technology, and I'm here today to talk about our vision for the future of the media and entertainment industry. To start, I'll begin to go over some key industry dynamics and what's changing out there and how that's affecting our content creation process and what that really means for the impact on your business. Next, I'll go into a strategy that we think can revolutionize the industry and how we approach this complexity. And last, I'll actually go over a association that you can be a part of to have a difference in how we're moving forward in the industry. So let's get started. To begin, things that are changing in our industry, one is called digitization of media assets. And really what that means is everything around us is becoming constantly digitized, from banking records to financial media to social media and how we communicate. And what that means in production is we have now switched from tape and film to file-based acquisition, so the camera actually never stops in reality-based production. So what's happened is we've actually foregone quality over quantity, and you still have to find a way to get to the perfect shot so you can produce that high-quality content. At the same time, consumerization has actually changed the way we distribute our media. No longer can we dictate how and when consumers watch our content, as it was in the 80s with must-see TV. If you watched Seinfeld or episodes of Miami Vice and learned what to wear on a Saturday night before you went out. Today, consumers dictate when, how, where, and what they watch it on, and they could even be watching on their mobile phones and tablets. And what this has done is put a lot of complexity and technology we have to throw in at this problem to be able to solve for the multiple platforms we have to distribute to. And ultimately, that's put a relentless pressure on operational efficiency, basically meaning do more with less. But it's also shifting our strategic investments from a budget standpoint from the content creation process to the monetization side of the business. So next I wanted to make sure I introduce Luis Hernandez Jr., if you didn't know, who became our president and CEO about a year and a half ago. But before that, he actually worked at a company called Open Solutions in the financial sector. And one of the things he found about a decade ago was it was a very fragmented industry, and they were using 30-plus-year-old technology in one of the most highly regulated, secure industries out there that's almost 3 times larger than the media and entertainment industry. And after they came out with a common platform approach, one of the things he found is that the top 10 financial vendors represented about 50% of the revenue. So the onus of putting things together and making them work and interoperate wasn't on the consumer, but was actually on the platform. In contrast, the top 10 vendors in the broadcast and media industry space actually only represent about 15 to 20% of that market share. So what that means is we estimate about 25% of anyone's annual operating budget is spent just making things work together, because you have to deal with complexity, again, as I mentioned earlier, about monetizing assets, distributing to multiple platforms, and be able to gain the viewership and the eyeballs that once were always on television that now are on many platforms. So what that leads us into is really a changing value chain. In the past, everybody knew their role and responsibility, and from lens to distribution was a very simple linear process. If I'm an editor, I took the footage that came in, I edited the content, and I produced it outwards. And 25 years ago, this is where the problem was in changing from linear to nonlinear, and that's where Avid revolutionized content creation. Today, this value change has actually changed so that the process is very fluid, very dynamic, and very nonlinear. So notice on the top side of this, what's happening is not only is it becoming interactive, but the content creation side of the business is actually merged with the content monetization side of the business. So that things that weren't possible before are now almost a necessity today. Things on the bottom part of this value chain weren't possible because we didn't have a digital file record. So an example would be, say you're an ad agency wanting to do a Super Bowl commercial. Before, you used to just pay $1 million, publish the commercial, and hope you got eyeballs, and that created demand for your content. Today, before you even get to that commercial, you've done a Twitter feed, a Facebook, a survey, thrown some snippets up on YouTube, and even gathered audience information to find out, hey, is this commercial leading the right way? Is it going where you want it to go? That feedback is critical, and these are the things here that we would not be able to do before without that digital file record that I mentioned earlier from the acceleration of digital files. So really what's happening is all of these things are leading us to believe we have to have a common area where everything can happen, right? Content is still king. Customers still want high quality, highly edited content, but they need to be able to find it wherever they are and whenever they need it. At the same time, you need to be able to still spend a lot of time on the content creation process. So without automation, you want to be able to you can't put all those non-creative tasks in the background. So you need a platform that would enable you to take transcoding and rendering and creating all these different files and all the complexity out of it away from the editorial where the creativity is done, and put that stuff in the background. And at the same time, you need to be able to not only protect your assets, but monetize those. If you can't find them and you can't encrypt them, how are you going to ensure that you get what's coming for the assets you've created? And finally, you need to be able to do all this with the partners with industry expertise, not just Avid, but third parties as well. We can't do this alone. So that leads us to our Avid Everywhere vision. And really put simply, what this Everywhere vision is about is we want to take the person creating the content and the person consuming the content and bring them closer together in a more powerful, efficient, and collaborative way, and also reward the person creating that content, right? And to do this, what you need is a common platform. And so what we call this is a Media Central platform. And so what we've done, but the platform can not only be just for Avid products, it's got to be for third parties as well, so that everyone can participate in the process. So what happens is we took all that was good inside of the Avid product portfolio and created a set of shared services on this platform from which anyone can take advantage of. Again, Avid or third parties. So let's take a few of these for example. Number one, on media services, you need to be able to search across your organization and find content when you need it, where you need it. Whether it's on Avid storage, whether it's on third-party storage, you need an index that's able to look at that virtually and present it back to you when and where you need the content. At the same time, you need to be able to tie into third parties. We can't do this alone. So if we're going to create a platform that's going to have applications and suites similar to your smartphone with applications, they have to be able to tie in with third parties, and that's what that development toolkit is. We're going to provide that toolkit for free to third parties, but certification is going to cost money. But again, the experience that the end user is going to receive is the same as if you were on your smartphone. It presents the application for you, and it's just like it was an Avid application. But that's also going to save you time because you're not having to spend all that money integrating these third parties into a platform if we've already done the work for you. Orchestration, again, is about automating those non-creative tasks and put those in the background. And then user administration is really about single sign-on. If I open up my phone and I turn on my phone and it knows who I am, it should bring up the applications that I most use based on my job role and functions. That's as similar as the platform, no matter where you are and no matter how you sign in. And so imagine now being able to tie into this platform and have instant access to all these application suites. At the beginning, we're going to have the Media Central UX or user experience, and really what it's about is, regardless of platform, device, OS, or workstation, you'll be able to sign in. iOS, Android, Apple PC, Mac, tablet. The idea is, again, the function that you're doing, you want to be able to sign on and the application is presented to you in the platform, again, whether it's Avid or third party. We've also broken down these applications into artist suites. Or into suites. Artist Suite is the first one. That's what you know us for, right? That's Media Composer and News Cutter and Pro Tools. But it's also third-party products that you may use to create that content. The Media Suite is all about asset management and collaboration, and this is where we've done this before, right? With Interplay Production, we have over 2,000 clients worldwide, making us the #1 man provider in the media and entertainment industry. So this isn't new technology, it's technology we're taking from existing products and bring it into this platform. And again, these are other things that either Avid or third parties can provide to you to, again, help monetize that content and make it easier for you to get that content out. And again, in the storage suite, you need to be able to have access to the content, both ingest and output, as well as having online storage for collaboration. Now, this is all surrounded with a marketplace. We've got a private marketplace, and that's for our larger enterprise customers to be able to access the footage through secure VPN access, but then be able to share across the globe for their different entities, right? At the same time, it also allows an independent production company who wants to expand their talent through a freelance pool that's trusted and known to have secure access into their facility to expand as their production's capacity expands. At the same time, an independent producer on the public marketplace would be able to publish their music, let's say, or their audio beds for commercial introduction right through the public marketplace and know that all the licensing and the rights management and the pricing is all worked out in the background. At the same time, any of the third parties who want to put their application suites up, whether it's a plug-in or an application or approaches one of these other media suites, would be available on the public marketplace, again, certified by Avid, so that you know it works and it's on the platform. You don't have to spend that time creating operation to make it work. So today, and again, that's all surrounded by Avid support because we're part of the certification team. And so if you start looking at the products today, we've taken all that's good in the Avid products and actually fit those in to the Media Central platform. So you'll notice some of the familiar names already. This is not something that we're reinventing from scratch, although we could have done that, it might have been easier. We wanted to make sure we reward the customers who have invested in Avid. So those who are invested the most are actually going to get the most benefit because they're already on the platform. If they've got a support contract today, their upgrades will enable them to start receiving the benefits of the platform. And I will talk about some of the new products that are shipping today as well. So at NAB, we actually announced several new things. Let's start with in the Media Suite. An example is Media Index. If you remember, I mentioned earlier how to be able to access multiple storage pools as if it were all in the same storage pool. That's really what Media Index has done. So as it's released, we've actually enabled this to enable multiple Avid interplay production systems, let's say in a newsroom environment with a group of news stations, to be able to search across their different stations and acquire that footage and move it to them as if it were on their local storage system. Again, this could also be applied to third parties as they start to develop toward the platform. Media Director is another example, and that's simply a file-based ingest device. Again, taking that away from the editor so that as all this file-based material comes in, I can start taking all the camera metadata and stuff that was done in the field and bring that into the system automatically. That's what that Media Suite does. Another last one here would be like real-time 4K support. And although Media Composer today doesn't output 4K, it can certainly edit 4K footage and produce that best HD quality output using features such as FlameFlex and file-based AMA technology. But it also has actually enabled third parties to work on ISIS so that if you want to output actual 4K and use products from DaVinci Resolve, Baselight, Smoke, and several others, you can actually take a timeline out of Avid, bring it into those third-party products, link to the original 4K output, 4K files for finishing and output. And we've actually tested that, and it actually works on the platform today. So the other thing I wanted to mention is all of our applications that are on this platform need to be able to be available on public, private, or on-prem, meaning if you want it to be on just on your premise, great. If you want it to be in the cloud, that's good. Or if you want a hybrid model, again, we want you to have the flexibility of choice of choosing how you buy these applications and implement on your own. At the same time, licensing needs to be available whether you want to own the license, whether you want to subscribe to it, or whether you want to float the license. Let me define what that means. In a Media Composer example, a floating license could mean I have a set of 20 licenses that I use across 60 machines, but only 20 are active at any one time. And an educational lab facility would be a good example, or an enterprise customer. Again, one system ID, one support contract, one image, very easy to manage. A subscription allows you to flexibly move your content creation capability or production capacity up or down based upon your business needs. Again, you're not limited by your vendor, but only your imagination. So really, the next step is, why do we think at Avid we're uniquely positioned to do this? One is, we're made by and for professionals. 70% of our company actually uses our products outside of Avid. So we have a passion for what we do. Another thing is our preeminent client community. We make the most watched, most listened to, and the most loved media in the world. And those clients range from Al Jazeera to NBC to ZDF, and you know, it's a very good who's who of the media community. But at the same time, we also have a rich heritage of 25 years of creating strong products and one of the heaviest investments in R&D in the marketplace compared to anyone else out there. It's actually one of the highest as a comparison to annual revenues. And part of this is shown by, in 25 years, we've had over 200 plus patents given to us by the federal government to certify our technology as being unique. And at the same time, with our new Avid Everywhere vision and platform, just in the last year, we've actually come up with 28 patents. 10 have already been granted, and 18 are still being pending, just on the platform technology itself. So again, we're trying to not only stop here, but keep investing for the future. So if you'll remember, I mentioned earlier where you can have a say in how this goes. for the industry, we can't do this alone. We want you to be involved as well. And at NAB this year, Avid released or introduced a new association called the Avid Customer Association. And it actually has a lot of the thought leaders and visionaries throughout the world, throughout the different vertical markets, who can come together and form an organization and actually help us drive the industry forward, because we can't do it by ourselves. And so one of the things that we've done is not only form this organization, but we've created a board of directors that's going to drive where this organization is going to go. And it's not just a feature list request, it's actually how do we address those industry pain points and needs that I outlined earlier, and how can we develop solutions or integrate third parties as part as applications to address those specific needs. And so not only do we have an executive board that's driving the direction of the ACA, but we also have various advisory councils that each one of our customers can participate in. So you just have to decide, do you want a voice to be heard? Well, become a member of the Avid Customer Association. If you want a seat at the table to kind of get more involved in the day-to-day where we're going to go, then actually become a member of one of the advisory councils, and you can get a lot closer to that. And again, we invite our customers, partners, and any industry professionals and competitors to become part of the association so that we can help move the industry forward together. I don't know if you remember, this is our executive board of directors. It's kind of the who's who out there in the marketplace globally, from audio, from video, and also from news, broadcast, post-production, education. Notice David Mash from Berklee College of Music, or you all the way to Dave Mazza from NBC Sports. So there's quite a collection of the who's who out there that's driving the industry forward. You'll also notice at Avid Connect this year, we actually had we initially planned for about 400 customers to come out and see us, and it actually ended up being over 1,100 customers from 43 different countries, ranging from industry professionals to independent producers, all the way up to enterprise organizations, including competitive manufacturers, to all hear this pitch about where we want to go with the platform and how do we address the industry's most pressing needs. We also had the first association members meetings at the NAB as well, and if you're an ACA member, you'll get access to the website so you can read the meeting minutes and understand and stay up to date on those topics that again are driving our development. One of the other things we saw was we had some great feedback from customers and clients alike. And the one I like here is the one that says, very impressed with Avid Everywhere, complete end-to-end unified system with expansion for third parties. Again, it's re-emphasizing that we can't do it alone. We invite you to join in the process, and we invite our competitors and other manufacturers to join the process, because we can't revolutionize where we're going if we don't do it together. And another thing is, we're going to do this again next year. So we want to make this a one-year turnaround and not be there again. We're actually doing this not only next year at NAB, so please save the date, but we're also doing this at IBC in Europe in September, starting on September 11th. So if you've got friends or colleagues that are going to happen to be in Europe at IBC, tell them to join us for Avid Connect out there, and then be sure to save your place at Avid Connect at NAB this year. Again, I thank you for joining me in this conversation, and let's have a dialogue about where you can help in this process.